Now, this all really started as a rumor, basically. Now, it's in Chinese, but I'll just kind of roughly translate it for you. So basically, there was a rumor online that says a supermarket in China has been, like they're gonna like go out of business, essentially. So then people just went inside the store and started looting it. This is what happened.
看看啊，看看啊，咱这是啥素质哈？看见没有？一个店摆着都不像样子了，看见没有？看看这都是咱这人的素质，咱这人的素质大大的好，好的招不住。
So these customers came in. We wouldn't even call them customers. Like they're essentially robbers. They came in and they just looted the entire place. And like, what's interesting here is that you had the next frame over. You have people, they're not even buying the drinks, right? They're just, drinking it. And you see all the shelves have been emptied. So people came in, they started eating all the food, they started drinking all the drinks, and they started looting the entire supermarket. Yeah, looting it, bro. This is a zombie apocalypse? Essentially, yeah. So the funny thing you mentioned it, Babby. So this is an article from Chinese state media. Whenever there's a riot, like the BLM riot, the Antifa riot, or when it comes to, just rioting in the United States, there's always like people looting stores, right? Obviously that's a terrible thing. But what the state media calls is $0 shopping and flash robbery in the United States. And basically they try to portray that the entire United States is a lawless place where they allow $0 shopping. Essentially, the idea here is they're looting the place, right? And then they're posting it on social media. Essentially, they're doing is going into the store, whether that's an Apple store or whatever hardware store. They go in and they loot the place. Obviously, terrible, right? Happens a lot in the state of California, in large cities. But then you basically have the same thing happen in China. Now, this is in the province of Henan, which is notoriously known for, I guess you would call their lack of ethical behaviors, lack of moral behaviors in this province, and they're known to scam people, right? When you mention people from Henan, you think of scammers, you think of people like this. So obviously, no matter if it happens in China or in Canada, it's not in Canada, in the United States, it's bad. Some other videos here too. We think we saw this one. This is a different angle. Just look at the empty shelves. This is how many people came into the store to loot this place for it to have empty shelves like this. It's like a swarm of people just came in and they started looting the place. Where's the police to use that thing to block grabbation? Not so sure. The entire province did. Yeah, exactly. The entire province came. Like, people on the ground is just collecting their loot. Simon Silence asked, I hope I'm not ignorant or anything, but why are they looting? Are they new starvation wave in China? No, this store was basically rumored to be out of business. They're not even out of business yet. They're not even shutting down. And then people saw the rumor online and they started going to the store and started to loot it. Even though the store wasn't actually going out of business yet, but now they're probably going to be out of business. Their entire store got looted. I think we saw this too. They're just like walking around and all the shelves are empty. The crazy part to me, I don't know if you guys understand how crazy this is. Imagine if you walked into a supermarket, like let's say Walmart, okay? The size of Walmart. And imagine the entire store of Walmart, or 90% of it, has been looted clean. You know how much stuff is in Walmart? Like the Walmart supercenters. You can spend a whole day there. And like, let's just say we're moving things, box by box, and then like these, stack of drinks, stacks by stacks, or boxes, or whatever, it would take a lot of people and a lot of time for them to loot that entire Walmart. And this looks to me like the size of a Walmart, and it's being done. You know, like all the shelves are empty. Before we continue, here's a sponsor segment from Ground News. Our sponsor, Ground News, is an app and website that gathers related articles from thousands of sources around the world in one place, so you can see how different media outlets frame and write their version of that same story. Every story comes with a clear breakdown of the political bias, credibility, and headlines of the reported sources. And the ratings are backed up by 3 independent news monitoring organizations. Yep, in this case, Chinese state media have also been rated as well. So let's take a look at this article, for example. China's own anti-doping agency is probing into the US as a way to get back at them for accusing their swimmers of testing positive for these banned substances, as we've covered. Now, Ground News found nearly 50 sources reporting on this, with coverage coming across the political spectrum. For example, here you have 41% coming from the left, 8% coming from the right. So let's take a look at this article from South China Morning Post. And they're, of course, based in Hong Kong. I often cite them in terms of reporting the actual story. I can see here on why they're accusing the US of an international sports scandal. I can either click and read more on why they're accusing the US of an international sports scandal, or I can keep scrolling to read on other news outlets and how they're framing this particular story. On the other hand, you can take a look at the Oregonian, which is based in the US, highly credible source, says an American Olympic sprinter in this latest doping controversy is simply collateral damage as the US continue to feud with China. I really believe Ground News is the place you go to if you want to be more informed than the average news reader and to get multiple perspectives from different outlets all at the same time. Or just even finding some stories you otherwise would have missed. Since I've been using Ground News to do my research on videos about China, I've essentially gained a whole new understanding, or you could say a full spectrum of different perspectives, which is really helpful when you're thinking about which outlet is reporting what and how they're reporting it, compare and contrast that to Chinese state media. It's really allowed me to counter the disinformation coming out from the Chinese government. So go to groundnews.com/David Zhang. Or scan my QR code to subscribe today. If you sign up through my link, you'll get 40% off of the same Vantage plan that I use for unlimited access to all of their features. So show your support to an independent company that's trying to bring transparency back to media one article at a time. And you have these old aunties, they're just walking around inside the store, just eating off of what's left on the shelves. Honestly, you guys should bookmark this video. Next time somebody says, oh, you know, look at China, we're so great, we got no looting, we got civilized society. Show them this video. This is what happens off of a rumor. This isn't even because of like a BLM protest or, you know, somebody was shot or anything like that. This is purely off of a rumor. So I think these are supposed to be sort of the mix and match, like, you know, like some sort of a discount item. And that looks to be frozen stuff in there, or at least refrigerated stuff. Sheikh Outdoor says, can anyone start a small business like a shop in China if they wanted to, or is there more government involvement? Now you can. You can start small business shops in China. You can do, you know, like restaurants. You can do mechanic shops. You can do things like that. But it gets, if you want to make it bigger, it gets government involvement, because then they start to watch you, you know, what are you doing? Things like that. Gosh, the entire store, frozen section, gone. That sells tofu products. So here it says tofu products gone. Whatever this is gone. Fruits, those are fruits. displays gone. Crazy stuff. Oh my god, look at this. This guy has a shopping cart full of stuff. Just ready to take it. Like, that's how much grocery you're getting out of this for free. Each person. Simon says there's speaker announcement in the background. Can you hear what it says? No, it's too faint to hear. So I legit don't know what they're saying. If I had to guess, it's probably something like stay civilized or something like that. I don't know. A guy is level 100 with the plastic bags. Oh my god, look at this. Another shopping cart full of this. Sasha Safari says, do these looters pay for their stuff? No, they definitely don't. Like, look at all these people. Nobody seems to care that it's not right to loot. So anyways, they took the whole place and then decided that, okay, this is what we're going to walk away with. And honestly, a lot of people, which it kind of makes me mad, because if you really think about it, in China, there's a whole idea of hiding things, right? You have a firewall, you have state media, you have propaganda, you have total control of information. So it makes me mad because they can openly criticize other countries, say, you know, the United States, right? Why are the police turning a blind eye to the rampant $0 shopping in the United States? This is a very clear account behind this. Now, so when we have a country that has zero transparency, that is criticizing other countries. Now, obviously, looting is not correct at all, right? It's not the good thing. No, nobody should be doing it in the U.S. That's not how things work. You should have rule of law. But the point is, if you're being criticized by a country, that doesn't even allow you to see what's inside of it until we have, obviously, videos like this that surface showing us the real side of China. And it's what I've always talked about, which is after the Cultural Revolution, a destruction of basic moral values in China, so that people think this is correct. You know, that makes me angry because, like, there's no rebuttal, right? You won't see American media reporting this, saying that, oh, look, this is happening in China too. Like, they won't engage in that, right? So obviously I can do it because, you know, this is part of the job. But it just makes me really mad that we're fighting an information war against a country that has so much resource and so many avenues to hide their flaws. And really, like, I think that's the part where I want to kind of tackle. Axel says, it's sad here in America, we can help fix this, we just won't. Right, so you raised a very important question, right? We all know that in November you can choose a president, and you have choices that you can make. Whether we make those choices or not, that's up to people. But in China, you don't get to make those choices. And in fact, a lot of the times, what's happening, for example, in this case of the supermarket looting, is a choice made by people because, I mean, the government has chosen the path for them, and so they're just following it, right? So it's basically the same thing. Looting in the US or looting in China, it's the same thing. It's all bad. But what's the history stemming from it, right? Is it choices made by people because they were given a choice and they chose the wrong thing? Or is it choice made by people because that's the only thing they can choose to do? So according to this tweet here, it says that people were eating the food and then they tore open the food packaging, ate and drank on the spot. Some even drank white wine, making a place a mess. All right, so this is the aftermath of the supermarket. This says, dear friends and guests, thank you for your support. But because now our supermarket area has a large severe inventory problem, we cannot satisfy the shopping needs of the customers. We are working with our county officials to return and restock. And so we will be shutting down from September 6th, 2024 for 7 to 10 days. during this time, we will be preparing our stock, our inventory, and then returning to normal operation to supply and to sustain the consumer spending. Right now, if you have a membership card with the supermarket, we will guarantee that everyone's rights won't be damaged. Please understand, and thanks again for your support. Thank you, everyone. So nobody is shutting down, but they were almost forced to shut down because of that looting. That's pretty crazy.